Have you ever felt like nothing is working? Like you're doing everything you can, but problems just keep showing up, one after another? What if I told you, there's a sacred verse, hidden in plain sight, that has been used for centuries to heal, to protect, and to transform lives, but most people don't even know how powerful it really is? This isn't just a verse. It's a spiritual key. A divine code that has been quietly passed down, whispered about in ancient texts, and guarded by mystics who understood its true power. They say it can heal the sick, calm the mind, and even shift the energy in your home. And yet, no one talks about it. Why? Because once you understand it, once you use it, you don't need anything else. Not endless affirmations. Not external help. Just this one psalm. In today's video, we're going to reveal the only psalm known to heal any problem, emotional, physical, spiritual. You'll discover why it's so powerful, the hidden meaning behind its words, and how you can activate it in your daily life, even if you're not religious. You'll learn how monks, mystics, and even modern therapists have quietly turned to this psalm in times of crisis. We'll explore what science is now saying about spiritual texts and healing, and how repeating this psalm for just a few minutes each day could change the way you feel, think, and live. But most importantly, you'll learn how to use this psalm correctly, so that the healing it brings isn't just temporary, it's lasting. And here's the secret no one is telling you: it's not just about reading the words. It's about understanding the energy behind them. So stay with us until the end. Because once you hear this, you'll never look at prayer, or healing, the same way again. Welcome to Bright Mind Within, your space for deep truths, hidden teachings, and the power that lives inside you. If you're ready to unlock ancient wisdom and create real change in your life, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. We've only just begun. Psalms are ancient, sacred poems found in the Bible. They were written thousands of years ago, yet their power still touches people deeply today. Each psalm is like a spiritual song, filled with emotion, prayer, and powerful truth. They were written by people who went through real struggles. People who faced fear, pain, loss, and doubt, just like we do. But instead of giving up, they turned their hearts to something higher. They poured their feelings into words, and those words became the Psalms. Over time, these verses became a source of strength for millions. People read them when they feel anxious, when they're searching for hope, when they're standing at the edge, unsure of what to do next. The Psalms have been known to bring calm in the middle of chaos. They help people sleep at night. They ease fear. They give people the sense that they're not alone. Some use psalms to pray. Others use them to meditate or just read quietly to themselves. There's a psalm for almost every emotion: joy, sadness, anger, trust, love, pain, confusion. Whatever you're going through, there's a psalm that speaks directly to it. But among all these sacred verses, there's one that stands out. One psalm that doesn't just bring comfort, it heals. Not just emotionally, but physically, spiritually, and mentally. It has been called a shield, a protection, a weapon against darkness. This psalm is different. It has layers of meaning. Power hidden between the lines. It speaks directly to your soul, as if it knows your pain, your fear, your silent cries. And for those who understand how to truly use it, this psalm becomes a lifeline. A secret tool that has helped people through illness, heartbreak, and even life-threatening moments. This isn't just another verse. This one has been called the soldier's psalm, the shield of faith, and even God's promise of protection. For generations, it has been whispered in the dark, recited during storms, and repeated during times of fear and uncertainty. Psalm 91 isn't long, but every line holds deep meaning. It speaks directly to those who are afraid, to those who are tired, and to those who feel like they're being attacked by life from all sides. One of its most powerful verses says, "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." Simple words. But they carry peace, strength, and deep comfort. This verse alone tells us something sacred. It says that when you remain close to divine energy, When you stay in that secret place of trust, prayer, and surrender, you're not out in the open, vulnerable. You're under protection. Another powerful line says, "You shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flies by day." It doesn't say trouble won't come. It says you don't need to fear it. There's a difference. This psalm doesn't promise a life without challenge, it promises a presence, a force that stays with you through the challenge. And that's why this psalm is unlike any other. Because it speaks to the human experience, the pain, the fear, the unknown, and answers it with one clear voice: you are protected. You are not alone. Something higher is with you. Always. Psalm 9:1 is not just a prayer, it's a spiritual shield. Across cultures, across time, many believe this sacred text holds a deep promise, divine protection. Not symbolic. Not abstract. But real, living protection that surrounds you when you call upon it. Spiritual leaders, mystics, and healers have used Psalm 91 for centuries. It's been recited by soldiers before battle. By the sick in hospital beds. By travelers afraid of the unknown. And every time, it seems to whisper the same truth: you are not alone. The Baylor Institute for Studies of Religion has explored how verses like Psalm 91 create what many call faith armor. When people pray or repeat these verses, they often feel covered. Surrounded. Safe. Even when their outer world stays the same, their inner world begins to shift. The Academy for Jewish Religion also highlights the sacred power of psalms in spiritual care. They've been used in hospitals, in therapy rooms, and in spiritual counseling to bring peace to the distressed. These are not just poetic words, they're seen as direct spiritual energy. But it's not just faith communities. Science is beginning to catch up. Psychologists and trauma experts, like those at Truett Seminary, have found that reading and reflecting on psalms helps people process grief, pain, and fear. They build inner resilience. The rhythm of the verses. The messages of hope. The feeling of speaking something eternal, it all creates a calming effect in the brain. People who practice this daily often report a real shift. Mental peace. Less anxiety. More strength. It doesn't erase their problems, but it changes how they carry them. And again, Psalm 91 appears. As a comfort. As a tool. As something powerful that most people never think to use. Until they do. If you want to unlock the true power of Psalm 91, it starts with how you use it. This isn't something you rush through or read like any ordinary text. You have to create space for it to work within you. Step 1 is simple: find a quiet place. A space where you won't be interrupted. Turn off your phone, shut the door, and just sit. Let the noise of the world fade. Take a deep breath. Then another. Feel your body calm. When your mind becomes still, the psalm can reach deeper. Step 2 is to speak the psalm. You can read it aloud, let the words fill the room. Or you can say them softly in your mind. Either way, give meaning to every line. Don't rush. This isn't a race, it's a connection. As you speak, imagine each word as light entering your life, pushing away fear, doubt, and negativity. Step 3 is where it becomes personal. Pick one promise from the psalm, just one line, and stay with it. Maybe it's "He shall cover you with his feathers." Or "You shall not be afraid." Close your eyes and let that one phrase echo inside. Let it comfort you. Let it teach you. Let it shift your inner state. Step 4 is where the true transformation happens. Repeat this daily. Even just 5 minutes. Over time, these words begin to rewire your thinking. They start to live in your heart. They become more than scripture, they become part of who you are. Every time you return to Psalm 91, it greets you differently. It speaks to the moment you're in. That's how it works. Not as a one-time prayer, but as a sacred rhythm. A quiet habit. A doorway into something far greater. Many people don't realize how deeply Psalm 91 can affect their lives until they try it. One woman, battling a long illness, felt completely alone. Doctors gave her medicine, but nothing seemed to calm her mind. One night, out of desperation, she opened her Bible and began reading Psalm 91. Slowly, it became part of her nightly routine. Each word gave her peace. Each line gave her strength. And, though her illness didn't vanish overnight, something inside her shifted. She no longer felt powerless. She felt held. Another story comes from a man who was dealing with fear after losing his job. Sleepless nights, constant worry, and panic attacks began to take over. A friend gave him a simple suggestion: read Psalm 91 before bed. Not with pressure, not with expectation, just read. He did. Within a few days, the anxiety started to soften. He felt more stable. More grounded. Not because his life had fixed itself, but because he had changed. These stories aren't rare. They echo what researchers have found time and time again. Therapy studies now show that reading Psalms, especially ones like Psalm 91, helps trauma survivors express pain in a safe way. The rhythm of the words, the promises they carry, and the act of speaking them aloud create space for healing. When people read sacred texts during emotional stress, their brains respond. Their heart rate slows. Their breathing evens out. Psalm 91 becomes more than words, it becomes a tool. A form of spiritual medicine. A way for people to release fear and replace it with calm. Again and again, real people have shared how this one psalm gave them something nothing else could: a deep, quiet strength in the middle of chaos. Not magic. Not illusion. Just steady, sacred power. Some people might ask, what if I don't believe in God? And that's okay. You don't need to follow a specific religion to experience the benefits of Psalm 91. At its core, this psalm is a collection of words filled with intention, peace, and strength. Even if you approach it as a form of meditation or reflection, the impact can still be real. The mind responds to calm, steady patterns. Repeating verses like Psalm 91 creates rhythm. It slows your thoughts. It helps you focus. It brings you into the present moment. That alone can lower anxiety and clear emotional tension. Many people who don't identify as religious still use scripture as a way to center themselves. It's not always about belief. Sometimes, it's just about connection. Then there's the question, what if nothing changes? The truth is, change takes time. You don't water a seed once and expect a tree. The healing power of Psalm 91 grows with repetition. With stillness. With honesty. It's not a quick fix. It's a gentle process. But if you show up every day, even for a few minutes, something inside begins to shift. Little by little, you feel stronger. Calmer. Less weighed down. And finally, some say, is this just placebo? That question has been asked many times. But studies in neuroscience and psychology show that spiritual language, when repeated regularly, does create physical changes in the brain. Heart rate drops. Stress hormones lower. The mind feels safer. Whether it's faith, rhythm, or focused thought, something happens. Something measurable. So even if you doubt, even if you question, Psalm 91 still offers value. It creates a space inside you where peace can grow. Whether you call that God, energy, or simply stillness, it works. And it's always waiting to be spoken. If you've made it this far, it's for a reason. Something inside you is ready for peace, for strength, for healing. Psalm 91 isn't just words on a page, it's a path. A sacred rhythm that brings your mind, body, and spirit back into balance. So here's a simple invitation: try it for 7 days. Find a quiet space. Read Psalm 91 slowly. Feel the words. Speak them out loud or in your heart. Just a few minutes each day. Watch how your energy begins to shift. And if you've already tried it, or if something begins to change, even just a little, share your experience below. Your story might be the one someone else needs to hear. We're building something special here. A space where ancient wisdom meets real life. A place where you can grow, heal, and unlock the power already inside you. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. It tells us to keep creating more for you. And don't forget to subscribe to Bright Mind Within for more deep insights, hidden truths, and powerful teachings that can truly transform your life.